OP told her brother's fiancé they won't owe her a family, so stop including yourself. My F25 stepbrother Nico 29 recently got engaged to a woman called Jenny after dating for 2 years. We all tried to welcome Jenny, especially knowing that she grew up in the foster care system and didn't have family. We tried to get to know her, but she seemed to want an instant intimate connection rather than building one. Me and my younger stepsister Chelsea 22 bore the brunt of her neediness, but our parents have also expressed concerns. Since she met us, she has been trying to insert herself into pictures, family disputes, and social events. She has no boundaries. We've all talked to Nico about it so many times, even sitting him down as a family, and he keeps saying he will talk to her, but nothing changes, and it's gotten worse since the engagement. She tried to make me her maid of honor, demanded my mother throw her a bridal shower, started calling my parents mom and dad even though they asked her not to, and reached out to distant family members that we don't even talk to tell them about the engagement. Last week, we were all Chelsea, Nico, me, and our partners staying at our parents' place. Jenny, Nico, and my boyfriend were the only ones not up yet, and the rest of us were in the kitchen. Chelsea, my mom, and I were talking about taking a weekend trip. Jenny came in, having overheard us say it sounded like fun, and proceeded to invite herself along. I was pretty annoyed by this and said she couldn't just invite herself. Jenny asked why she wouldn't be invited, and I said because marrying Nico doesn't give you a blanket invitation to everything his family does. Jenny got upset and said she would really like to be included in our family since it's the only one she knows, and she doesn't have a proper family. I said I knew that, and we all sympathize, but that doesn't mean we owe you a new one. The whole room was silent, and Jenny got up and went back upstairs. She didn't come out the rest of the day, but Nico came down to chew me out over what I said. Our parents defended me, saying he had an opportunity to talk to Jenny, but he didn't. He and Jenny left the same day, and he's now only keeping low-level contact with everyone. Since I've spoken to him, he's just said I went way too low with what I said to Jenny, that I've set her back mentally, and that she's really down. I do feel bad, but I also feel like Jenny has been overstepping. We are all open to a relationship with her. We all have good relationships with partners in the family, but she never really made a genuine effort to build relationships with us. She just decided she was entitled to them, which I think isn't fair. I don't know if I should reach out to Nico or Jenny with a more fervent apology, which I will if I have really screwed up here. I don't want to be the reason Nico stops talking to us. I just feel like he dropped the ball by letting it get to this point. Edit. Okay, I'm adding this because I thought it was implied, but maybe not. We do push back when Jenny is being intrusive. I can't count how many times I have said, Jenny, I'm not comfortable talking about my sexual life, therapy, medication, etc. It's really personal. Can we just change the subject? We move on from the conversation, but the next time I talk to her, it's back to square one. Same with my parents. They politely ask her not to call them mom and dad, and she stops for the duration of that conversation and then starts again next time. We've never had a more in-depth conversation with her. We offered, and Nico said no, he would talk to her. Edit 2. For everyone saying I should consider the Jenny family because she's engaged to Nico. That isn't what I meant with that comment. I commented on this elsewhere, but I'm copying because it encapsulates what I was trying to get across. I never said or meant that she wasn't part of the family. I guess what I meant with what I said was that you can't parachute yourself in and expect us to be the family you deserve. Because the family every person deserves is one with their mom and their dad. It's happy, it's from birth, and you don't have to do anything to earn it. Sadly, not everyone gets that. I know I didn't, and I know how much it must stink for her to feel like she has to work for what other people get for free. I have a SHTTY bio dad, so I kind of know, you think. Why do I have to be good and clever and kind and a million other things to have a good family, while all anyone else has to do is just be born? And it's the worst. But when you come into a family that already exists, that's the way it is. They learn to love you, and it takes time. My stepdad didn't love me the second he met me or love me just because he loved my mom. He got to know me and figured out who I was as a person, and he loved me for me. We wanted to have that opportunity with Jenny. And maybe that doesn't feel good enough for her. And I guess it's not really fair that she doesn't have the other kind of unconditional love. But I don't think that's up to us or anyone else to fix. That's just my view. Verdict. Very mixed. Relevant comments. He's just said I went way too low with what I said. So what does he suggest you should have said? We've all talked to Nico about it so many times, even sitting him down as a family. And he keeps saying he will talk to her. But nothing changes. And it's gotten worse since the engagement. Nothing. He wants everyone to say nothing. NTA. Diminishing patience. Well, Jenny was just going to keep pushing until someone pushed back. So this moment was more or less inevitable. You named the elephant in the room Jenny's neediness, which your whole family had noticed. I don't know whether Nico failed to talk to her in private or whether he did, and she failed to heed his warnings. I also don't know if getting to join what she perceives as a close-knit family is a large part of what makes Nico attractive to her. But I do know that your comment stung deeply, and Jenny won't stop feeling it for a long time. It's not impossible that this precipitates a breakup between Nico and Jenny. And if it does, it is highly likely that the blame is going to come your way. So an apology is in your strategic interest, regardless of whether your comment was justified or not. I think my final vote is going to be Ash. Jenny for being pushy, Nico for not warning her that her pushing wasn't going unnoticed, and you for saying something really wounding. South 3Y. Nah. I cannot blame you for snapping, and I cannot blame Jenny for wanting a close family. Growing up in the way she did can result in an intense longing for connection and safety, and a lack of proper communication skills. She shouldn't insert herself in everyone's business like that, but she also seems to not understand why. I hope she and your brother can work through that together. On the other hand, I completely understand that it feels very invasive if someone does this to you, even if you understand where they are coming from. The way you said it was a bit harsh, but I assume tension has been building up over time. I do think it's good to talk it out with her once all the emotions have settled, and I hope your brother can facilitate the process. She needs to learn the nuance of being welcome without overstepping boundaries or being a sign that people do not care about you. Fit permit. Update. 20 days later. Wow, that post blew up. In no small part to my extensive replies, while sitting in an airport lounge on a layover, I am still getting DMs asking for an update, so here goes. First, thanks to everyone for their advice. I received some really insightful messages and comments that were really helpful and heartfelt. Long story short, we decided to have a session with a family mediator. It was me, my boyfriend, Jenny, Nico, my parents, and Chelsea. I'm not sure I can fit in all the insights from the session, so I'll keep to the key things. Firstly, for all those wondering if Nico ever actually told Jenny what we said, Nico talked to Jenny about our concerns precisely twice. A third of the times we brought them up. She said it was presented to her as an offhand comment from our parents, rather than the intervention it was. Second, basically, one of the main things that came up was how Nico kind of sold our family to Jenny as a blended family she could slot into, and she got really invested in that. Nico said he kept hoping that it would all work itself out once Jenny felt more secure in their relationship. Then came the real crux. Jenny said she wasn't just looking for a relationship with Nico, but with the whole family. And we all had a long discussion about what that looked like for us in an ideal world, and it was vastly different. Then the mediator asked her the question. If you never get the relationships you want from this family, do you think you'll still be able to have a happy relationship? And she said she didn't know. This kind of triggered Nico, who said he felt like Jenny was making him feel like he wasn't enough on his own, and that she wanted a family from him more than a relationship with him. Then Jenny got upset and said, why couldn't we all just try to be the family she needed? At which point my boyfriend had an uncharacteristic moment of insanity and went off on her. Then he and I left the room. I was right in the middle of lecturing him when everyone else came out except Nico and Jenny, and said that they needed the rest of the session to discuss what had been said. Nico came back to our parents' place later, and said he and Jenny are taking a beat, because she's ruminating on what the mediator said, and he's pretty crushed that she might not want to be with him if he doesn't come with a ready-made family attached. He said he was prepared to pretty much give up a family for her, but she won't even give up the idea of one for him. He's now staying with my boyfriend and me until further notice. We haven't had any further conversations with him and Jenny. He's not in the headspace for it. If they stay together, I foresee a lot more mediation. At the end of the day, everyone on the thread was right in some way. I was an awe for saying what I said in the way I said it. And this conversation between all of us should have happened earlier. Relevant comments. Brother is not getting nearly enough crap from the field on this today. He told her, lied to her, that his family was hers immediately blended. He told his family he'd talked to her, and never did. Lies. He yelled at his family for not being what he lied to her about, or what he promised her they would be. Then he yelled at her for not being content enough with reality after his lies all crumbled. She needs therapy. But he's the real here. OP, did I get any of that wrong? Edit. In fact, the more I think about this, the worse he comes off. She came to him in an incredibly vulnerable state, and he left her exponentially worse. And if his family doesn't hold him accountable for this, he will remember this incident not as something he caused, but as some crazy ex-girlfriend story. Scottfos 72. This is sad all around. Jenny's looking for the family she never had while breaking a lot of boundaries, yes, and your brother is never going to be enough for her without it. I hope they just stay in therapy and do not get married anytime soon. Tagak. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.